All right, we are pairing. Hold on, not yet, not yet. I'm gonna grab my Bitcoin just for good luck. And we are live. We are live.
And yes, we are live. Welcome to episode number 36 of the Risk Reward Show, presented by Risk Reward Media. My name is Cris Mercado, aka Mr. Risk, and as usual, I'm joined by
Mr. Reward.
Yes, and we're here to help you find the upside in your career, your business ventures, and in your personal lives. And today, this marks our new season. It'll be very thematic, and it'll be aligned with our main topic today, which is what we call the Great Recalculation, right? So before we explain what that means and how it piggybacks off of our previous episode on the Great Resignation, we're first going to get into our weekly rewind, our first segment. And I am brought back to 1 week ago, a little bit before we aired our previous episode. We had learned that General Colin Powell had passed away from complications due to COVID. And I felt like because Derrick and I come from the City College of New York, where Colin Powell also attended, and because he took such great pride in, his growing up in the South Bronx and ascending to like global leadership status, we wanted to pay our respect and also kind of reflect a little bit on like his life, but more importantly for us, like the lessons that we can take so that, we can like make impact or try to make an impact like he did. So Colin Powell had these like sets of rules, won't call them commandments, but there are a few that I picked out from that list of about 13. And one rule that he had in terms of leadership and success is be careful what you choose, you may get it. And if you think about what we do on the show in terms of helping you assess risks and rewards in your various aspects of your lives, like what we're telling you really is exactly that. So here are the risks, here are the rewards. Be careful what you choose, and you just might get what you ask for, and sometimes it's more than you bargained for. And also, some of your choices come with unintended consequences. So we try to do as much as we can on the show to lay out various possibilities and consequences. Another rule he had is don't let adverse facts stand in the way of a good decision. And the reason I bring this up is because I actually go against this rule. A lot of people interpret his rule in terms of like trust your gut. And in an era now where we have so much data with us, I think we do have to entertain facts that go against our gut. Now, for me, the way I do it is my choice is in large part based on data. Now, if I choose to go in another direction, a direction that goes against the data, then I will state my reasons for doing so. And one of them might be, you know what, I think this could be the exception to a general rule. And that's fine. But I think we need to entertain facts that goes against our beliefs, because oftentimes we're wrong based off of our gut. We only focus on the times where we get our gut instinct right? Because that makes us feel good. But we tend to ignore all the other times our gut made us do wrong things or had us perceive people in a wrong way. So that's one where I'm not 100% aligned with General Colin Powell. And then another one is the idea of sharing credit. I am 100% aboard on that. And I think back, Derrick, to how we set up the show and this idea of like, who gets the credit? Is this a 50-50 deal? And we outlined it. We were very transparent and upfront about what we wanted and what we would be responsible for. So as we get more engagement, as people start to ask about the show, like credit goes to both of us. And I think that is a hallmark of a good leader, one who shares the credit, maybe actually shares more credit than, it's almost like humble to a fault. But I like being around people who acknowledge the contributions of other folks. And then one last one, he phrased it in this specific terms. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. And as Mr. Risk on the show, I may curtail some of my optimism. But the fact that we spend the time to research, to outline, and to share with you our insights, it should be apparent that we deeply believe in all of your abilities to find the upside. We just want to make it a little bit easier for you. And I think that whatever success you seek in your personal life, in your business ventures, in your careers, it's in you. And we hope to do what we can on this show and also, through our businesses to help bring that out. So with that, that's my weekly rewind. Feel free to comment on that, Derrick.
What strikes me is the rule that you said of like, don't let adverse facts stand in the way of a good decision. I'm like 50-50 on that. I feel like in certain things, like personal wise, probably, but especially for like stocks and stuff like that, or just anything dealing with like money, you should not go with your gut feeling. Just one to throw that in there. But I do agree with you that now that we have so much data that's around us, being able to kind of base your decisions based off that is the more optimum way. But with regards to Colin Powell, when I first known about him was because of CC in NY. So as a fellow alum, just to hear that he passed, especially from like COVID, it does suck to hear. But I wish the best for him and like his family. I hope everyone's doing well. He will definitely be missed though.
Yes, I had a chance to hear from him once. Was hoping to meet him, kind of exchange stories, but he did an event at the Great Hall, and I was just honored to be in his presence and like hear kind of his takeaways on leadership and how much he really loved our campus. Because I love our campus. In fact, there's a school within campus named after him, and it happened after I graduated, but psychology is housed under that school. So anyone who's a psych grad now, technically you graduated from the school.
Yeah, I know my degree definitely says his name on it. So shout out to you, Colin Powell.
Yes, so we'll try to do what we can to keep kind of these lessons alive. So no smooth way to pivot towards the next weekly rewind, but let's talk about the metaverse, Derrick.
The metaverse. I feel like this has been like I feel like throughout the year we've been having like weeks where there's like hot buzzwords. This is definitely one of like those newer ones. The best way for me to explain what the metaverse is for anybody who's ever watched like Ready Player One. That's exactly what like that is. To where you're kind of immersed in like this AR VR world. You're literally in like you have like some type of headset on. For those who've ever used like PlayStation VR, Pokemon Go, like games like that are showing you like what the AR world is. But now it's kind of being taken to like to that next level. We've already seen examples of it. Think of like Fortnite when they're having concerts, like they had a Travis Scott concert where they had like millions of viewers. That was an example of what like the metaverse is. There's a really, really good show on Amazon Prime called Upload. And basically what the show is as they let's you like you die. And basically what they do is they take your conscience and upload it to the metaverse to where you're kind of still alive, but within like this new virtual world, you still have to pay for things. So for me, I'm thinking of the way like, hey, like even when you're dead, they're still trying to get like some type of money from you. But at first, I was like, you know what, they're probably gonna do like something like this in like the future, but I just didn't know how soon it was actually going to actually happen. But I'm pretty sure everyone is aware of the recent news that hit Facebook with the whistleblower just kind of exploiting them and just kind of giving them just kind of sharing with like the world of what's really happening at Facebook. But ironically, the Zucks will be changing the name of Facebook to highlight the push towards the metaverse. I mean, it's still a little unknown on what the metaverse could actually be, but I do take a look at movies like Ready Player One and see the value in having like another world. Like what would that even mean? I can't even put like a dollar amount to what that'll actually be. I think of like video games when you get like skins on Fortnite or skins on Call of Duty, but I don't know how far. Like, are they going to go the upload route to where you can upload your conscience and like you're always like forever alive, or are they just going to stick with just like products and stuff like that? So, this is a space that I think everybody should be on the lookout for. There are like a few projects that are out there that are probably like a year or two old, so don't think that you missed it or like this is very very new. So definitely take a chance to really look at what like the metaverse is, especially what types of projects that are out there. But what's your stance on this metaverse, Cris?
So I think just to get people to understand like the idea of like meta. So in psychology, there's this concept of like metacognition. So it's literally translates into thinking about thinking. So metaverse, think of like the universe. It's like a world on top of a world. And when we have technologies like augmented reality, so think of Pokemon Go, you had a world on top of a physical world. And that's how, I guess, easiest I can explain it for folks. So a lot of people have already experienced this, but they just haven't seen that name. Yeah, but the idea of uploading my conscience or my soul,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I need to do some penance before I start. Need to clean out some of my conscience before I start uploading to the metaverse. But really interesting, really exciting. Look, there's like digital real estate being purchased in the metaverse. So
literally,
it's ripe for innovation and exploration. And I think this is one great avenue to get younger people to sort of bridge any sort of technology gaps for like older folks and have the young folks lead and explain to older folks like what this could really mean for like the world in general. And I think this idea of what things mean for the world in general is the way we can pivot into our main topic, right? Mm-hmm. The idea of like what we are assigning meaning to and how much we're assigning meaning to various aspects of our lives during the pandemic. So just as a recap, last week, we had talked about what has been termed as the Great Resignation. And we explored everything from the ideas of how work has changed, like vaccine mandates, even like the crypto boom, like how much of that contributed to the Great Resignation. But after some great engagement from our audience, and again, thank you all for following on YouTube and commenting and sharing, and also reaching out to us individually. But after hearing from folks, I think we settled on like something deeper. Like the Great Resignation is just a symptom. And even Indeed, the company, has shied away from using that term, the Great Resignation, because the problem isn't that a whole bunch of people are quitting, right? That's just a symptom to something deeper. And Indeed was framing it as the Great Realization, that individuals realized certain things about how their lives work and how their systems work that didn't sit well with them. And I think that while Indeed starts to get at the root, Derrick and I, as part of the Risk Reward Show, we're formalizing something even deeper. So for us, any talks of the Great Resignation or like the Great Realization or like the Great Rehiring, like those are fine, but they don't encapsulate everything. So for us, this is the era of the Great Recalculation. Literally on a show that's called the Risk Reward Show, what we do is help you all recalculate the options available for you in your personal, career, or your business venture aspects of your lives. And each time we share insights, we're trying to help you recalculate the risk rewards of the options in front of you. But now, I think we formalized it in a way where this great recalculation happens on two dimensions. On one dimension, it's an individual recalculation. And for me, that's three areas. So how do you recalculate what's going on in your family life? How do you recalculate what's going on in your work or career life? And then what's going on with you personally, right? So that's on the individual level. But then there's also the macro or systematic level. When we think about decentralized finance, when we think about NFTs, cryptos, those are offshoots of people recalculating how beneficial systems are for them. And I think we are going to explore how each of us are recalculating our like individual aspects of our lives, but also like systems around us for this new season of the Risk Reward Show. We can't wait to delve in to how people are actually trying to figure out what the risk reward calculations are for them. So we hope to bring in more guests so that they can fully explain, like, you know, this is what I assign in terms of risk, and then this is what I assign in terms of reward for my personal decisions. So that's the layout for this next season of the Risk Reward Show. And I did want to delve in briefly into the three aspects of this individual recalculation that people are undergoing under what we call the Great Recalculation. So one, we are recalculating this idea of family. So we are thinking about when to start a family, like when's an ideal time in reference to age. The idea of family planning, like how many kids should we have? And also, you know, you hear a lot about people buying houses and like moving out of the cities during the pandemic. People were recalculating where a family should live or a family should be raised. And then we have these recalculations regarding work and career. And we had mentioned last week that a lot of the quits in terms of folks who resigned came from industries like, you know, restaurant and hospitality, right? So people are starting to recalculate, well, hold on. Am I being compensated enough in terms of, in relation to the stresses of my role? How does my commute to work figure into this? Shouldn't I be able to work remotely because so many other companies and employees took advantage of remote work and did just fine? We're also trying to explore, we're trying to calculate like how much do I enjoy being within this industry or even this company, and how much time do I really want to spend here, right? And then we'll also start to, we've also started to recalculate and reassess, you know, how much is this company really looking after me? Are they providing me with the support so that I can ascend to leadership positions, right? And these are all like, we're literally computing these algorithms, setting up these algorithms in our head in real time for heavy life decisions and aspects. But I'm not sure there's been a podcast that has laid it out for people quite like this. And that's what we hope to do in this new season of the Risk Reward Show. And then we get to this other dimension of our personal lives and our recalculations within, you know, our hobbies and passions. Like, have we given up too much of that in relation to our responsibilities? Are there adventures or like travels that I have postponed or ignored for other obligations? And then this idea of like investing time and effort in relationships. So like, how is dating or how's dating life changed? How has your intimate partner relationships changed? And then also our relationships with money. Like, do we save differently because of what we're feeling in terms of what we have reprioritized for various aspects of our lives? So this is why this next season of the Risk Reward Show is super exciting, and it is framed under what we have coined as the Great Recalculation, because that will capture a lot more of these root causes to people quitting and wanting to be hired and wanting to, you know, travel and all this adventurous and exciting, but also, you know, uncertain aspects of the times that we're in. So with that, Derrick, what are your thoughts on that and how the Great Recalculation can be framed for the systems that we live in?
Yes. So for the systems that we live in, I mean, for me, the world that I bask in is like the crypto space, like the blockchain space. So you're definitely seeing that as a way of kind of going against, you know, finding, I guess, you know, going against like what that root problem is. Right now, how the financial world is set up is like a very like centralized place to where we have one, either a bank or some type of place where all of the money just like goes through. For instance, if you wanted to have like a home loan or a car loan, you have to go to like Capital One or Chase or like some type of bank to actually do, or actually to get that done. Before, well, in 2008 was the great recession, so there was like a central authority that, you know, was responsible because there was so much fraud going on, so much, you know, bad things happening. And once that central place fell, everything else fell. Another problem that's very like relevant within like the centralized finance that we do have is, let's say for instance, Cris, if you were living in like Europe and I wanted to send you like $1,000, I would have to send it through a bank, and that money would probably take like a week to actually get to you. So, you know, the speed of which people were getting their money, as well as was like their money safe. These are like the symptoms that people were actually seeing. So basically, what happened was, you know, this DeFi space, or the centralized finance space, was kind of birthed out of that. What makes the space so cool is that, one, there's no central like authority. It's really ran by the people that are, you know, like, you know, are actually adding code to this this environment. For those who are familiar with what smart contracts are, those who aren't, is just basically what a smart contract is. It's just like automated code that kind of runs or gives you like the proper just like protocols. So a lot of time people are, hearing about, this is on like the blockchain and blockchain, this is blockchain that, but basically if a transaction happens, the smart contract runs to where it's put on that blockchain so everybody can see it. I feel like a lot of people nowadays are just looking at the prices of like these coins that are going up and up and up. But Ethereum itself, I think right now it's probably like around like $4,000. But I want people to not think as Ethereum as just a coin. It is literally like a whole web like environment. You have basically they are building apps or dApps on top of the Ethereum just like platform. And I really think that is going to be like what the Web 3.0 is, because they definitely have the environment set up to where they can do like the AR and like the VR. So when it comes to that centralized finance and just finding the problems there and finding the solutions, and really people are kind of thinking about like, hey, I don't like this anymore, so I'm going to find something that's better for me. Also, when it comes to this space right here, you have the currency itself, like the actual coin. I feel like don't quote me on this, but I think there was a line that said like 45% of the money that's in circulation right now was made in like the last year. So for us to be printing money like that constantly and always like pushing that out, basically just goes to show that over time the money probably won't be worth like as much. I think the empire fell because they printed too much money. They have a dollar. Well, it's not a dollar bill, but in Zimbabwe they have like $1 million bill. Like that's crazy. And basically how crypto solves that is that you have a finite amount of coins. Like for Bitcoin, there's only 21 million. There can't be any more or any less. There's only 21 just like million made. And with that, people feel a lot safe knowing that you can't, just make, more coins just to do whatever you want. So there's like a sense of safety that comes with that. There's only this amount rather than being able to print thousands of more dollars. And something that you mentioned before was the NFT space. I think the way how the world has been intro through like NFT has been mostly through like the art space, in terms of like people are selling their art, or people are selling like graphics and stuff like that. Like that's all cool, but I want people to understand like the technology itself. Like it is so the word that I'm thinking of in my head is beast, but I can't think of like a much better word for it. But beast is exactly what it is. You have basically you have ownership. A couple of I feel like it wasn't like a couple of years, but a few months back there was like a period of time where you had a bunch of artists talking about, what, I don't want to go with the label. I want to do like my own thing and just put out my own music, whether that be through SoundCloud or stuff like that, and not have to go through like that label. And basically the whole root problem of that was because they wanted just like ownership of it. Now let's say for instance, Cris, if you have an album, no, even before that, the example that I want to give is for the Nipsey Hussle. When I think it was the Crenshaw mixtape that came out, he sold it for $100 and he only made 1,000 of them. Basically he was doing the NFT before the NFT was actually like a thing. But out of those 1,000 albums, he sold out of those 1,000 albums, he sold them all for $100 and got $100,000 from that. But the basis of what the NFT is that you have that ownership. This is mine. Let's say, Cris, if you were to make like an album, I think Tory Lanez he recently made his last mixtape in NFT, but you have that. And let's say if I were to sell it to another person, you may get a 1% or 2% of like royalties back. So not only are you selling your art, but you're also getting paid from it still. Like regardless if it's not just sold once and like that's it, but this is something that's as many times as it's sold, that's as many times as you'll get paid for it. But I think what we're seeing now is very, very heavily used with like, you know, crypto punks, lazy lions. Like you have these projects where like they're making these pieces of art. But I really think it's going to evolve into something much bigger. Like my mindset is going towards just like real estate. Let's say, for instance, Cris, I build, you know, this monster house that has like 10 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, a basketball court. Like, if you were to build a house, what would be something that you would want in it?
Uh, I would definitely want a rooftop pool.
Rooftop pool, bang. So we add a rooftop pool. You have a basketball court outside, inside. You have a tennis court, and I sell it to you for $1 million, which is like a deal for all of that. But I sell it to you for one. You know, I sell it to you for that price. But I tell you, the fact that this is a NFT, now whenever you sell it, I get 1% or 2% of that money back. So you buy it for that one $1 million, but then you flip it and sell it for 3. Regardless if you sold it for 3, I still get that money back. So I think this is really gonna disrupt like the real estate space. Any space where you have to hold an asset or like you have an asset, I think this NFT, you know, is gonna really like disrupt that so much. And it goes back to that root problem of people just wanting to have that ownership. And people are really thinking about like, hey, rather than going through like this singular place, I can just do it on my own, but make sure that I always get paid for it. So I mean, I love what the blockchain space has like, you know, brought, you know, just brought to the world. I feel like before, when it first came out, it was seen as like some type of bubble. But I feel like the more and more use cases that you see it can actually help out, it's going to become something that's really going to not take over the world, but become a part of our like everyday life.
Yeah, so some of the great points you brought up, again, it goes back to this idea of we are recalculating systems. And, you know, for that use case of the artists were recalculating, wait, I make this masterpiece and it gets transferred to various owners, but I only get paid once for it. And our artists we're like, they've always had this complaint. And, you know, it's about time that, you know, we have leveraged technology to help people actually recalculate. Wait, hold on. Like, many people are enjoying my masterpiece that comes from my talent and my passion and my time. If it's being scaled out, why do I benefit from only one transaction? And again, this falls perfectly in line with our big core theme for this next season of the show. But again, you know, we're trying to make sense of all of this for as many people as possible. It's not just people quitting, right? Or it's not just like this feeling of like, wait, things can be different. I think with what we coin as the great recalculation, people are actually creating these algorithms in their head and in their hearts as far as like what they want to pursue, how they should be treated, how they should be compensated. And again, we can't wait to explore this in, you know, great depth with or without
I'm
guests.
excited.
Yeah, because I think this will put a lot of the issues that we're facing right now into greater perspective. But now with this idea of like recalculating, we can explore what happened before versus like what's going on now, and also some projections that people have for either a space, a system, or even their own personal goals going forward. So welcome to the great recalculation.
Mic drop.
So with that in mind, right, we're setting up our future episodes here, but we've also given you great context. I think we can move on to the right move right now to close out our episode. And for something that, like I truly believe, Derrick, you have this idea of the connection between work and want. So what's your right move right now, Derrick?
If you want it, work for it. Simple as that. If you want to work for it. I say that because me, myself, I had a moment over the weekend where there was something that like I truly, truly wanted, but I realized that I wasn't putting like the like my best work like first, or I wasn't doing like as much as like I could. But over the weekend, I was able to kind of do it, and like the result was like right away. So I'm like, if I just channel all of that, like I want this, into just doing the actual work and just like, I mean, for me, like for me to, I guess, put that much brain power to do things that I like really need to do, I just have to shut myself off from like the world. I'll put on my headphones and like that's it, and I'm just like tunnel vision. But if that's what it takes for you to get what you need done, then that's what you need to actually do. Find like that time to kind of remove those, whether it be like your phone. I know for me, I threw like my phone across the room because I couldn't, if it's there, I gotta, check IG quick, check Facebook quick, check text quick and stuff like that. So um do what you can to, achieve what you want, but just know that you're gonna have to put in the actual work for it. There's no magical basket that falls down. It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, so you've heard me speak to groups of people about, it all boils down to execution. And even with that execution, it's not guaranteed. But one thing that is guaranteed, if you're not working for it, you're not gonna get it. On rare occasions, you can luck into something. But if you want like repeated positive outcomes, at the very least, you're gonna have to put in some considerable work for it. So thank you for that. For my right move right now, and maybe this is a more lighthearted application of the great recalculation. Halloween is coming up, and I believe it's in the top 3 quote holidays in terms of like consumer spending. So all the chocolates, all the costumes that folks buy, right? It ranks up there. I believe it's top 3. So what I'm gonna recommend is that you recalculate how much chocolate you buy, right? Because on November 1st, which is the day of our next episode, some of those Halloween chocolates will go on sale. So keep that in mind. I hope you all have fun with Halloween. Share all the pictures. We love seeing it. I don't know what you're gonna be dressed as, Derrick.
Damn. What was I gonna be? I really forget too, because me and my friends, we had a plan too. Damn, and it just slipped my mind. But is it gonna be like a group thing though?
Yeah, so I was one of these years, I'm gonna dress up like Prince, and I will only talk to people through like Prince lyrics, or like.
You have to have the chest there to go.
Yeah, I can get that. But yeah, I'll have a guitar as well.
The Jerry curl?
Might have some shoes that elevate my height. Yeah, I hope everybody has fun for Halloween. But yeah, this is a kind of a new season for the show. We hope our audience again grows and continues to follow, share in this new season of the Great Recalculation. And reach out to us. We hope to recalculate a few things for you so that we can help you find the upside in your career, your business ventures, and your personal lives. So with that, have a great night, and we'll see you next week.